I'm back with another live video. I'll wait till some people get in here. It's past my bedtime. I'm supposed to be asleep right now. Hopefully we get some people in here. I look rough. Goodness gracious. You are first again. Yay, Brandon. Get up. Get up. Get up. Checking in from Raleigh. What's up, Princess? What's up, Jamel? Yep, you're second. Big Al said no. What up, Al? What up, Carolina? What's up, Coco? Michael, hey. What's up, Casey and Philip and Antoine and Barb? What up, y'all? How y'all doing? You guys can hear me okay, right? Can you hear this? No, I'm not in Dallas. I'm in Fontana. I will be headed to Texas. I gotta go on home time. So you can't hear when I do that. So I might as well just take this off then. So, I've been getting a lot of emails. I'm in Fontana. What's up, Ron? I look a mess. I feel like the hat covers me up a little bit so nobody can see me. I look crazy. I got my nails done today. Man. That nail salon was so awesome. Like, they were the best ever. They gave me food. Look at this. They had me try it. They made some, and they were like, they gave me some and had me try it, and they're like so cool and so down to earth. But so yeah, so I've been getting a lot of with the problems with the phone. No keto, I didn't eat it. See, it's still in its packaging. So, I've been getting a lot of emails from people asking me, what do I think about night transportation, and should they go at night versus other companies, and what makes night different than the other companies. So I decided to do a video about it because, in my opinion, I have reasons why I believe night is better. Shut up, Al. It's better than a lot of the other companies. And before I started trucking, I did a lot of research because I didn't know what to look for, what I needed to see or know. I didn't know none of that. So I was just doing a lot of research. And one of the things that came up when I was doing my research was, they said look for a company that is not in debt. And really, dude, go use the bathroom. We were straight at the terminal and he's peeing. Anywho. But Swift, best in crash. Hey, what's up, trapping and trucking? But so look, so they were like, look for a company that's not in debt. And doing some more research, I came across this website called Trucking Truth. I've heard you guys all heard of it. And I found out about, what night pays and how they do what they do. And these are my reasons why I believe night transportation is better than the other companies. Number one, they are not in debt. They are not in debt. They're one of the rare trucking companies that are not in debt. And what that speaks to me, it says that they're not paying a lot of money. There's not a high turnover, right? There's not drivers quitting night, and they're not trying to struggle to hire more drivers because drivers generally are happy with this company. So they're not putting a lot of money into paying for training for a whole bunch of different drivers. They're not paying a lot of money into, well, they are paying for training, but it's not because of a high turnover. They're not putting a lot of money into tickets, into accidents, CSA violations, because their program is just that good. I believe, in my opinion, that that's the reason why they're not under water. Also, my reason for choosing night was because, well, they're not underwater. So with that too, it's if you're always getting in accidents and if you're always getting tickets, what kind of training are your drivers getting? Which brings me to the next reason why I chose night. Because the training school for your CDL, when they train you to get your CDL, number one, they pay you for DQP, which is the driver qualification process. That's a 3-day kind of like orientation where you do your physical, you do your paperwork, you do your drug test, you do your smart Smith system training, and they pay you for that. Then they also pay you for the 2-week Squire training or the CDL training. The Squire training is your CDL training. It's 2 weeks, and that is the cheapest in the industry right now, the least expensive in the industry. I think it's $29.95 or something like that. Let me see. It's not on here. Yeah, it's not on here, but it's the cheapest. I think it was $29.99, I believe, for the CDL school, which is the cheapest from what I was told. If it's still the same, it's the cheapest CDL school in trucking right now. And with that, it doesn't come with a contract, which competitors are not only in debt, drivers are not only in debt, but I'm sorry, not drivers, but trucking companies are not only in debt. Can't reach our comments right now because it throws me off. What was I saying? So they're not only in debt, but they have the cheapest training program, and that training program is 2 weeks. It's $29.95, and other companies that are, other trucking companies, they require you to sign a contract when you go to their CDL school, and a lot of times they don't pay. Knight pays you for the CDL school, and they don't require you to sign a contract. You sign a promissory note that says you promise to pay the money back. You pay it back in weekly increments. I think I pay about $25 a week out of my check, but it's not a contract. So from my understanding, because don't quote me on this, but from my understanding, is if you were to sign on with a company and they pay you or they train you to get a CDL, some of them don't pay for the CDL and some of them do pay you for your CDL. And the ones that I believe pay you, it's really low fee, or there's some type of gimmick that goes with it, or there's a contract. The contract, from my understanding, is if you have to finish out a year with that company, or however long it takes you to pay off that money before they'll let you leave. And if you don't leave, if you leave before the money is paid off or before the contract ends, then they put it on your DAC report. So then that means it's going to make it harder for you to get on with another company if you leave within your year, because it's on your DAC report, and that's what drivers or truck driving companies look at when they hire a driver. They look at your DAC report, which is kind of like a trucking credit report, kind of, sort of, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I like the fact that I am able to get paid for all steps of the process to get my CDL and get on the truck. I like the fact that I didn't have to get a contract, get stuck into a contract, because I didn't know if I was even going to like trucking, right? I didn't know if I was going to be satisfied with it. Like I said, I have children. What if it's not paying enough? What if I had to leave I didn't want to get stuck in a contract. So then, and then they're not in debt, which says a lot about a company. And then when I hear a lot of people complain about, well, this company is going to pay me a sign-on bonus, before I was rudely interrupted, a lot of people say, well, Knight doesn't have a sign-on bonus, and this company does. Okay, they may have a sign-on bonus, but you're not getting that lump sum of $5,000, $10,000 up front. They're paying it within a year of you being there, right? So you'll probably get like $150 a week or something, or $150 a month. And again, that comes with the contract. And the reason why Knight is not in debt is because, look, they're 100% debt free. It's because they're not pushing out all this money for these frivolous things that these other companies are pushing out money for. For example, we don't have APUs. Personally, I've never had an APU. I'm not missing it, right? I can idle my truck when it's hot outside or when it's cold. I can idle my truck. I have a bunk heater. I have an inverter. I'm good. Same difference with the APU. So a lot of people choose other companies because of the little perks that they have, and because Knight doesn't have those perks. But think about it. The less money we spend on stuff that's not needed, the more money can go in the driver's pocket. Like, we have a really good bonus program. That bonus program is paid out every month. Not quarterly, like most of these trucking companies, but every month. So I personally feel like I'd rather work for a company that will want to put more money in the driver's pocket than the amenities that the drivers can have. Some companies offer Dish Network or Direct TV on their trucks. They have APUs, like just all kind of different stuff. And we may not be the highest paying company out, but honestly speaking, I wouldn't want to work for the highest paying company if I had to be put in a contract and I didn't like the company, if the company treated me like crap, if my DMs were like crap and my terminal is crap and I was unhappy driving for them and I hate it, and then I'm driving, I'm stuck in a contract, but I'm making good money. No. So I wouldn't put all my stock into because the company pays more. Knight Transportation, in my opinion, cares about their employees. They care about the employees' families. If your family member was to have an issue of emergency and you're somewhere across the United States, the country, they will fly you home to make sure you see your family. They will send you an Uber from the airport, they'll send you an Uber to the airport, and they'll fly you home. I don't know a lot of companies that'll do that. Speaking of Trainer Doll, speaking of home time, you get 1 day off for every week you're on the road. And they make sure you get home. You want to know why? Because we have so many terminals. So many different terminals across the United States. I think we have over 31 service centers, and then we have drop lots, our drop yards. So if you can't get to a terminal, you could drop your truck or trailer or both off at a service center or a terminal or a drop yard. I wouldn't go to another company because that's one thing I don't like. I don't like the fact that, for example, from personal experience, I knew someone who works for Melton. Melton, I think, has only 4 or 5, maybe 6 terminals. We have 31. So I like that, right? I can basically go to any terminal anywhere, and they have laundry, they have free Wi-Fi, they have vending machines. I like the fact that they have barbecue pits at every terminal. We can grill our food, and it's like a family environment. Most of all of our terminals have a service center, so we get our trucks checked out, and we don't have to spend hours and hours and hours for roadside waiting in a shop. Depends on where you're at, you might have to, but I like that fact. So there's a lot of reasons why I think Knight separates itself from the competition. They're not in debt. They have a lot of terminals. Their drivers are genuinely happy to be here. Most of them, in my opinion. Again, everything that I'm saying in this video is just my opinion. So they're not in debt. They have a lot of terminals. The drivers are genuinely happy to be here. Their trucks are maintained very well. You have to, every time you go into a terminal, they do yard checks, and they're checking the trucks to make sure the trucks are good. Some drivers don't like that, but they're making sure that their trucks are in working condition, road ready every single time. Nothing is breaking down on a truck. If you try to hide it, it's going to catch up with you, because they will check to make sure your truck is good, right? And another reason why I feel like they set themselves apart from the competition, like I said, no contract. So if you think about all that and you weigh the pros and cons, I believe for a person coming fresh out of, if you have your CDL, you just got it, or you are looking for a trucking company, if you don't have a year experience, I believe Knight would be the best place for a beginner, because you're not stuck here if you don't like it. That's number one. They're family oriented, so that means if something happens with your family, if you want to go home to see your family, you have a better chance of doing that, because we have terminals everywhere, and they will make sure family comes first. If something happens, you're going to go see your family, you're going to be there. There's so many terminals everywhere. You can, if you're in California and you got to go to Pennsylvania, that's where you live, because there's a family emergency, you can get there and you can park your truck there because there's a terminal there. There's 2 terminals in Texas. There's two terminals in a drop yard. I don't know if there's more than one drop yard in Texas, but there's 2 terminals in a drop yard in Texas. So, like, that's a big plus to me. Me being a single mother of 4 children, I always get asked, well, do they pay well? Like, what's the difference between this and that company? Well, you have port, dry van, reefer, and flatbed. That's what Knight has. Port, dry van, reefer, and flatbed. I think flatbed would probably pay more. Then it would be reefer, then port, and then dry van. I believe, don't quote me on it, that's my opinion, that's what I assume. And if I, a single mother of 4 children, can take care of my kids and I'm comfortable, then it says something, because I wouldn't be driving for Knight transportation and I'm struggling to pay my rent and bills. Now, mind you, when I first started, yes, I was struggling a little bit because of the problems that I was having with my truck or whatever, but I'm able to pay my bills. My rent actually right now is paid for until the 2nd week of June. And I make enough money to where every week when I get paid, I put money towards my rent so I can keep it up ahead of time. And I just got my nails done. I send money home to my kids, and I have money to eat, and I have money put in savings. That's good money. And I'm not training. I'm not getting a training pay right now. That's just me driving. They pay you for detention. They pay you for layover, like a lot of companies do. And you get paid for detention, layover, and holiday pay. They don't pay all the other stuff like other trucking companies do. But again, they're not in debt either. And there's a reason for that. So when you compare, when somebody asks me why should I choose Knight over ABC company, just think about it. Where do your values lie? What do you want to do first? Do you want to do dry van? Do you want to do tanker? We don't have tanker, but do you want to do dry van? Do you want to do reefer? Do you want to do port? Do you want to do flatbed? Do you want to do tanker? What division do you want to drive in? Then, if it's one of the ones that we carry, then you'll ask yourself, what's important to me with the company? Is it being in a contract or not? Is it the pay scale? Is it the average miles per week? Is it the service centers across, how many terminals do they have? What is the home time like? Like, I know a friend who works for a company, I'm not going to say the name, but he always has a problem with home time. He's always sitting and he's always have a problem with home time. And I never have a problem with home time. When I tell them that I need home time, they put it in the computer. I have to approve the request. So they tell me I'm going on home time. I'll show you actually. I'm going on home time starting on this date from this time to this date and this time. and then you have to approve it. And once it's approved, then you're good. Like, they have to honor that. And so then the planners will see that your home time request is put in, and then they'll start routing you that way in that time frame. So let me show you. Home time request. We have received and accepted your special time beginning on 5/1. Your special time will end and you'll be back to work on 5/2. So that was for the special request is for the CDL, I mean not CDL, but the trainer program. So then you reply to this message to acknowledge and accept, right? So if I was to push reply, it says driver confirms home time commitment. Once that's accepted and put in there, the planners have my home time marked, so then I don't have to worry about, am I going to get home on time. I'll start to see routes getting me towards home. Like right now I'm off the 10. If I take the 10 all the way east, that takes me right into Houston. So I'm in California off the 10, and I'm seeing that my route is starting to resemble the route to get me towards home. So, and when you're looking for a trucking company, you want to think of what's important to you. And in my opinion, the things that separates Knight from its competition: no contract, they're not in debt, they have a lot of terminals across the country, and they are a family-friendly environment, and it's just a happy place to be. Like, it's just a happy place to be. And they have zonars, which are not Qualcomms. Their zonars are easier to work with than Qualcomms. So for me, that's when I first started CDL. The first day I went to CDL school, and JoJo was like, family is important, very, very important, and family comes first. And then what's his name, Dustin, he was like, he left the company and came to Knight because he had a family situation, and being that he was in a supervisory position, they told him he had to be at home. He had to be at work. He couldn't be at home. And he was like, I have the capability to work from home, so why can't I work from home? And they told him he either works from home, he works at the office, or he has to work at the office. So he left because family was important. Knight believes in family. Like, Knight in general is supportive. They care about their the way they look to the public. They care about what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's right on the tip of my tongue. I don't remember. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but they care, and that speaks a lot of a company. So I believe those things would totally separate Knight from its competitors. I don't know any competitors that have a program where I don't know any competitors that are top big companies that are not in debt. And being debt free speaks highly of your company. I don't know of any company that doesn't have a contract. And if they don't have a contract, then you're probably not getting paid for CDL school. And I don't know of any company that values home and family the way Knight does, and genuinely cares about the opinions of their employees. So, D, this is not a recruiting overload video. No, it's not that. It is answering questions that I'm getting in my inbox that I'm tired of responding to over and over again. I just figured I'll do a video about it, and then they could decide for themselves. Okay, thank you. So let me read y'all comments since I've been talking. I've been in a bitchy mood all day, and I haven't been feeling good. I've been feeling nauseous. I don't want the bullshit today on my page, so please, I don't want it. I don't, just look. Brandon, if you see anything, please just block them, because I don't have the energy. I don't feel good, so I don't want to deal with it, okay? Crete, Shipex, DOT line are just a few. I'm not trying to argue with you, but you keep saying there's no contract. But if you're hired to receive a CDL through them and want to go somewhere else, but have to pay back their expense, Contract. 1. An agreement with specific terms between two persons or entities in which there is no promise to do something. Iron Wolf, what I mean by no contract is, if you decide to start night transportation and then leave, they're not going to put that on your DAC report. So another trucking company is not going to read it and say, oh, you owe this company money. We can't hire you until you pay them back. Night doesn't do that. Night says, if you stop this company, if you stop driving with us before you pay the money off, you just got to pay the money back within a specific amount of time, probably. But it doesn't say, we're going to put it on your DAC report so when other companies see it, they're not going to want to hire you until you pay that money back. That's what I mean by a contract. So if I was with, who do I know has a contract? I don't know who has a contract. So ABC Trucking Company. I got my CDL through them, and they paid me for the CDL program, and I signed a contract saying I would work with them for a year. But then 6 months later, I decide this is not where I want to be. I'm not happy. I have to get off the truck because of family issues, whatever the case may be. I'll come back to it later, or I'll find another job at another trucking company. I go apply at DEF Trucking Company, and they say, oh, you owe ABC Trucking Company, so we can't hire you until you pay that money off. That's what I mean by a contract. Night doesn't do that. If you leave Night, then you just leave them. You can go to another trucking company. They won't even know that you owe Night because they're not going to put it on your DAC report. Can you guys use Swift yards to do layover on a 10-hour break? In Philip, in Washington, we use a Swift yard. I don't know the total answer to that, but we do use the one in Washington to do our layovers or T-collar loads and stuff like that. The government speed at 65, yeah, I hate that too. What's up, Only the Lonely? You're on reefer. Yeah, reefer is better paid than box, that's true. That's what's up, Shannon. Home time is, are you asking me what home time is? Holiday pay, Swift don't pay holiday pay. Yeah, we only get like, I think I got $25 for Christmas, $25 for, it's not a lot, it's just like a little extra or something here or there. Yeah, they do have KWs. There's one right here in front of me. So we have Kenworths, Volvos, and Internationals and Freightliners. Thank you, JoJo, for all your help with the knowledge on your company. It sure helps me out. You're welcome, Shannon. Been with Night since February, and so far so good. I would recommend Night, but it also depends on what your focus is. Exactly, that's what I've been saying. Is your loaded pay different from empty pay? I don't know that answer, actually. But we do get paid for both. I actually have to, I'm in Fontana, I have to drive to Rialto to pick up my load. They're going to pay me for those empty miles. They have it simplified conference. Well, we have the zonars. You're welcome, Shannon. Recruiting overload, I already answered that. I just said thank you again, Shannon. Great info. Do you know if they have refresher courses there? If you already have your CDL, I believe you go to the DQP, and I think you might have to go to, I can't answer that, I'm not 100% sure. They have modified students, modified Squire, and then they have Squire. So he just explained this to us. I think modified Squire is when you already have your CDL and you're just transferring over to Night. So then you'll probably go to the modified CDL. You'll probably get on the trainer's truck for like 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know how lease works, Lewis. I'm sorry. Prime has contact. What is an 8 and 2 split? I'll explain that in a minute. You've made your choice, Beaver. Okay. Loaded empty, same pay. I will have my CDL when I get there. I'm good, Kenny. How are you? So, also, they just changed to automatics in CDL training. So, when you come to the Night Squire program and get your CDL through Night, you're going to learn to get your CDL through with an automatic. So that means you're going to have a restriction on your license, which says you can only drive automatics, you can't drive manuals. So if you don't mind that restriction, which I'm sure a lot of people don't mind it, because a lot of people did not want to do, they didn't want to train in a manual. I know I didn't want to train in a manual. That was no. But I had to, right? I had to. and now I'm in automatic. But they're training all the drivers in automatics now, so that's good. So an 8 and 2 split, an 8 and 2 split, huh? Let me see. I have some information. I can read it to you. Um, I don't remember the page that I went to. That I don't want to give the wrong information about what an 8 and 2 split is, but let me see if I can find that page that I was on. I wrote it down and it's in the back. From my what's up, Leandria? You rather struggle, select your gears and struggle going uphill. Well, with the automatic, I don't struggle going uphill. And you can switch to manual mode and automatic too. From my understanding what an 8 and 2 split is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you need to take 8 hours in the sleep. So you're driving, say for example, you're going to be late to your shipper or your consignee. You're going to be late to your delivery if you take a 10-hour break. So you take an 8-hour break, and you have to be in the sleeper berth for a consecutive 8 hours, and then you'll get all of your on-duty time back the day before. You drive that on-duty time. You drive that time. So say, for example, on Monday, I was on duty, plus my drive time was a total of 6 hours, 6.5 hours, right? So on Tuesday, so Monday night, I'm in the sleeper berth for 8 hours. When my 8 hours is up, I get that 6.5 hours back that I had yesterday. Once that 6.5 hours is up, I have to do 2 more hours in the sleeper berth. And then I have to take a 10-hour break all over again. But what happens is, if you're going to be late at your shipper, if you took a 10-hour break, that's not how it works. So how does it work? Tell me how it works, D. I'm about to get something out the back. Hold on 1 second. I'm waiting, D. That's what I thought too, Jamel. I thought that you get back your drive time and your on-duty time from the previous day. You're driving. Okay. Well, let me go to my source of the 8 and 2 split. So you only use the 8 and 2 split again when you really need to. You get back your drive time after midnight. If you do your 8 and 2 split before midnight, then you can't wait until that's with recap. But you can't get your drive time back after midnight. You know, you get your drive time back after 10 hours, but you can get your on duty time from the shift previous after 8 hours in the sleeper berth. It has to be in the sleeper berth. It can't be um, off duty, which you're supposed to be in the sleeper berth anyway. So these are scenarios. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. One of the scenarios. It says, you're 2 hours away from your delivery, and you have 9.5 hours of driving time, and 10 hours combined lines 3 and 4. And lines 3 and 4 are driving and on duty. So again, you have 2 hours. You're 2 hours away from your delivery, and you have 8 hours of driving time and 13 hours on duty time for the day on your logbook. With the 8 and 2 split, you get your 3 hours driving time and 1 hour on duty available after 8 hours in the sleeper berth. The 8 and 2 split will not work in this case because you only have 1 hour available before you'll be in violation. You must take your full 10-hour rest period before restarting. I read that totally wrong. I went from scenario 1, half of scenario 1, and half of scenario 2, and I put those two together. So let me read it again. I'm sorry. You're 2 hours away from your delivery, and you have 8 hours of drive time and 9 hours combined. So you'll have 8 hours of drive time and 1 hour of on duty time. With the 8 and 2 split, okay, it says you have 2 hours away from delivery, you have 8 hours of driving time and 9 hours combined lines 3 and 4 for the date on your logbook. So that's today. With the 8 and 2 split, you have 3 hours of driving time and 5 hours on duty available after 8 hours in the sleeper. The 8-2 split will work in this case. You will have only 1 hour left driving when you arrive at the customer and 3 hours on duty still available. After 2 hours of off duty or sleeper, you will capture the other 8 hours of drive time. I don't understand how he's saying this because it doesn't make sense to me how he's explaining it. But how I understood it the first time, how I explained it to you is how I understand it. From my understanding, the 8 and 2 split is today. Let me see if my top is too good. Alright, I'm going to show you. So yesterday, this is yesterday's log, right? Yesterday I have 1 hour of driving, 20 minutes, so 20 minutes, 1 hour, so an hour and 20 minutes, 24 minutes, so an hour and 44 minutes, 2 hours and 44 minutes, 26 minutes. I'll just round that off to 3 hours and 15 minutes, 4 hours and 15 minutes, 5 hours and 15 minutes, 6 hours and 15 minutes, on duty 10 minutes. I just rounded off to 10 minutes. So what I say, 5 hours and 15 minutes, so 5 hours and 25 minutes. That's how much time I drove yesterday. And I was on duty. So today, I've been in the sleeper berth. Nope. I've been in the sleeper berth. See, sleeper berth? For 5 hours and 4 minutes. When it says 8 hours, I get back yesterday's time. And then I can drive. That was what, 5 hours and 30 minutes? So then after 5 hours and 30 minutes of drive time, of me allowing me to drive, when that's done, I have to go in the sleeper berth again for 2 more hours to complete my 10 hours. So, from my understanding, that's what an 8 and 2 split does. Yeah, you do not have to do a pre-trip during your 8 and 2 split. I've only did it one time, The second time I tried to do it, I messed it up because this Zonar kicks into drive automatically after a certain amount of time and space traveled. And I let it kick in automatically, and then it put me in violation because when it kicked in, it said that I've only been in the sleeper berths for 7 hours and 59 minutes. So I totally was late to my delivery and everything. So, plus after 2 hours of driving and everything like that, you gotta shut down again for 10 hours. 2 miles, okay. No, my truck idles between 73 and up, or 33 and below. So if it's not 32 degrees outside, or if it's not 74 degrees outside, it won't idle. Which I'm cool with, because if it's less than 70 something degrees, it's not really that hot outside, especially if you're in California. But yeah, those are my reasons for driving night. I just feel like they separate themselves from the competition big time. Like, the contract is number one. They're not in debt. Well, no, they're not in debt. That's number one. Number two is the contract. There's no contract. And number three is family and home time. Excuse me. So it ultimately depends on what you want for yourself and for your family and for what you're trying to do. So what are your struggles, some of the struggles you had your first year? My truck broke down a lot my first year. Learning how to run my logbook, my hours of service, to be productive and efficient. Learning how to go downhill on the mountain when I'm fully loaded, being in an automatic. That was a struggle. Still is, kind of, sometimes. Making mistakes. I hate making mistakes. I hate making mistakes and having to call my dispatch and tell them that I made a mistake. I hate that. With, like, you know how y'all have pride? I think it's pride. I don't know what it is, but it hurts me to my core. To my core. Like, I'd rather hide under a rock and live there forever than have to admit that I made a mistake. But I have to here in this company and driving trucks. And I try not to make mistakes often, but when I do, I hate it because I have a track record of not making mistakes often. So when I do make a mistake, oh my gosh, like, oh, I hate that. But I guess definitely it was my first year driving, the truck breaking down and running my logs. That was probably the biggest challenges that I had because, money. As far as money is concerned, I needed to make money, take care of my kids or whatever. Their trainers, I can't say how I would rate the trainers because I don't know them and I don't know their students. So I can't tell you. From the trainers that I know so far, they sound pretty good. Aside from the trainer that I had, she was one bad apple in a bunch, but I believe the trainers are pretty good. The training program is pretty good. And I provide you with tow passes for your truck. Yes. We get a pre-pass. This is the pre-pass. And it's dark. So when you go in the toll or you go in a weigh station, when you go to a weigh station, this is either going to be red or green. If it's green, you can pass the weigh station. If it's red, then you got to go into the weigh station. If it doesn't blink at all, you got to go into the weigh station. And when you go through a toll road, it automatically, does it for you too. Have I ever smoked my brakes on the downhill? I did one time. And I pulled over when I was in Shasta, Mount Shasta in California, Northern California. And I smoked it wasn't a lot. I parked. And I was driving and I smelled it through my air vent. So then I Ended up going to the truck stop, and I just sat there to reevaluate what I learned in training, what I did wrong, what I could do better, and make some phone calls to try to help me because I still had more mountain to go down. The truck stop that I was at the peak of the mountain, and I didn't want to smoke my brakes anymore. So, yeah. When you're carrying 45,000 pounds, what hole should your trailer be in? It depends on where you're going and where you're at and what you scale out at. If your scale ticket says you're heavy or light, or if you're too heavy on one axle or the other, or on your drives, depends on where you're at, what state you're going into. Like California, I think it's the 6th or 7th hole. I don't count holes. I measure with a measuring tape 10 feet from the rear of my trailer forward, and that mark right there is the 40-foot mark. 10 feet from the rear of my trailer, so starting at the rear, going up 10 feet, I mark it on my trailer. That's 40 feet, and 40 feet is from the kingpin to the center of your rear axle, or 10 feet from the rear trailer to the center of your rear axle, or this portion of your trailer. And if I'm at the 40-foot mark and I'm overweight, in either like my tandem or my drives or my steers, then I have to decide what state I'm in to determine, can I drive like that? Can I slide my tandems either which way and still be legal, get a legal weight going on my tandems and on my drives and on my steers? And then, am I going to a state where they have a bridge law? If they don't have a bridge law, I can slide my tandems to get my truck legal as far as the weight is concerned. But if I'm already at the 40-foot mark and I'm heavy on my tandems, I can't slide my tandems anymore because I'm at the 40-foot mark, then I have to go get reworked. But then there's also tricks that you can use to get legal. Depends on how much you're overweight and stuff like that. So it's a lot of different factors. Average yearly salary for a new driver. I don't know. I can say this though. When I filed taxes this year, I got more money than I've ever gotten before with taxes. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I get paid per diem, so my taxable income is lower because of per diem, which gave me a little bit of an advantage when filing taxes. I spend a lot of money on the road as far as food, which gave me a benefit for filing taxes. In the beginning, I spent about $600 a month in food alone on the road. So that just lets you know how much money you're really making out here. I would probably say mid 30s to high 40s. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I don't do the homework. I just, how I rate it is, can I pay my rent? Can I pay my bills? Can I take care of my kids? And can I eat like I like to eat? And can I have money to get my nails and my hair and clothes and save money? And I do this because I'm like checking savings account behind me. My checking is in front of me. My savings is behind me. Can I throw money back there and save money? And if I can do all of that, then I'm making a good amount of money. So I can't tell you how much an average trucker makes per year. Average, I don't know. When it's like that, do the truck cut off? A lot of horns go off and send something to the office. When what? You smoke your brakes? I think so. I heard a driver, Shannon, that goes through Canada, but they go through Canada from Washington, so I'm not sure. Yes, engine braking is your friend. Okay, that's what's up, great truck. Do you weigh all of your loads at that cat scale or at a particular weight? Yeah, at first, I used to scale all of my loads if I was over 35,000 pounds, if my load was over 35,000 pounds. And then I made a mistake and did something bad and could have really gotten in a lot of trouble for it. And Knight's policy is that you scale every single load. And when I got into that trouble, or when I made that mistake, my DM told me, just make sure you're scaling every load from now on. So like I said before I got rudely interrupted, So yes, I do scale every load now. If your tandems are all the way back, you can't corner. I don't understand what you mean. Would you suggest for a new driver to go regional or do 48 states? Normally with a trucking company, you have to go all 48 first before you can change to regional. Or you have to do your 30,000 miles here at night before you could do regional. So um, I would say OTR, because if you want to get after your year experience, if you want to go to a trucking company, it's not even a year. I wouldn't even say a year. I wouldn't say 2 years. I would say 2.5. The companies that are paying the good money, from my experience and from what I've seen, like from my research, are the companies that require you to have 30 months experience. 2 winters, 2 summers, and then some. And they're the ones that are paying the good money. But if you want to get that good money, you have to have some OTR experience. You have to have some winter driving, some mountains, all kind of terrain, all of that. So that's usually OTR. You want to have that experience. When you're out of time, hold on, let me go back. When you're out of time, no, your horns and stuff don't go off. If you're out of time on your Zonar or on your Qualcomm, it'll say you are in violation. But it'll give you a warning. It'll give you a warning at an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you're going to go in violation. Does your new truck have a digital scale in your truck to show your weights? No, it doesn't. Some drivers do have it, but not night. You can buy one. If you're an owner operator, you can buy one and put it on your truck, but we don't have them. What's a good way of keeping track of your miles to make sure you're getting paid right? Well, when you get your load, they give you the mileage of how many miles that load is. And then when you get paid, you see how much you get paid per mile. And you see how many miles that load was. So you just do the math. We get paid from zip code to zip code, not door to door. So from Fontana, if I had a load from Fontana to Houston, Texas, I'm getting paid from the zip code. And say, for example, my load said you're getting a load from Fontana to Houston. It's going to be, for example, 512 miles. That's from Fontana zip code to Houston, Texas zip code. And it's 512 miles. So when I get paid, I'll see it and say, you got paid, for example, 42 cents per mile times 512. And then they'll give you the gross. So you just compare those two. When I write down my loads, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, I write down how many miles it is. 827 miles. So then I know when I'm going back and looking at my paycheck and calculating my miles, if I'm getting paid what I'm supposed to be getting paid, I can do that. And then also, let me see if I have it on one of these. Right here, I have 349 and 189. 349 is the loaded miles, 189 is the empty miles. So I just write it down, and that's how you can compare your miles. Oops. Night pay zip miles, you'll always be shorted. You're negative. Be thankful you have a job. Most companies play zip code miles. You just got hired at night, but I forgot how long on Zonar is it, driver code and social security number. Oh, you just got hired. It's your driver code. Oh no, it's the last 6 of your EFS card. And it's the 4-digit password is your last 4 of your social. It's not the last 4 of your EFS, it's your last 6. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure that was the best way. Company pay lumper fees, right? Yeah, they pay lumper fees. Nothing comes out of our pocket. We don't pay for anything unless it's something personal that we want. And if you have a good... I'm not going to say that. We don't have to pay for anything trucking related. As far as like what's needed to do your job. What's not needed to do your job is a strobe light in your truck, or the little glossy pretty lights that these truckers be having, making their cab light up red or blue. That's not needed. But if you need oil, If you need tires, if you need chains, if you need bungees, if you need a truck wash, if you need whatever, Knight pays for it. And if they can't pay for it or they won't pay for it, is because you're near a terminal where you can go into the terminal and get it fixed. We have 2 body shops, one in Phoenix and one in Kansas City, Kansas. So, um, if you're near a terminal, you're pretty much, and you have need body work done, they're not going to send it to anywhere. They're going to send it to a terminal. And if you need anything done to your truck, they're not going to send you to a shop at a truck stop unless you're close to the terminal and the terminal is open. Will you make a video showing the easiest way to do a 45-degree park? I will once I get a trainer. If my trainer is not, if my student is willing to be on camera, I will. I'm not negative, I'm a realist. Okay, well, you're right. You might get shorted, but what other companies do the same thing? Right? What other companies will pay for place to place and not zip code to zip code? I could try to help you out with a little bit of backing help. We'll see. Your micro or macros? What are you talking about? You talking about keto or trucking? All right, let's see if I can help you with this. So we have parking spaces. And you want to park in this space. Your trailer. Let's see. I'll drive up. Your tandems will be here. I suck at drawing, y'all, so please do not laugh at my drawing. Oh man, it's so bad. Oh wait, that's bad. Shit, hold on. So your truck is going to be facing this way. Your trailer is going to be facing that way. It's kind of like a 45-degree angle. All right. Yes, they will help you get your CDL. I'll give you the information, and I'll tell you how to do it because I found some information out. So this is my little makeshift drawing. Say, for example, you want to park here, right? You're pulling into the truck stop, and this is your truck, okay? This is your trailer, okay? Truck, trailer. You pull into the truck stop, so this is your shoulder. The tip of that right there is your shoulder, okay? So you're pulling in. This is how I was taught. Shut up, Al. You're pulling in. When your shoulder hits that line, you're going to do a hard right, pull up, and then left, pull up. When you're finished, your tandems, which is your tandems, should be 2 spaces away. Your trailer should be facing the hole. Your truck should be straight. So then your truck and trailer will end up looking something like this. This is going to be hard to do. Hold on. It's going to end up looking like that. Your truck is going to be that way, and your trailer is going to be that way. marking that line right there. That's kind of like a 45-degree angle, I think. So your truck is going to be facing this way, and your trailer is going to be facing the hole. And so when you back in, you're already halfway there, right? So when you back in, all you got to do is just back. And when your tandems hit this line, so preferably your tandem should probably be up here. If your tandem is slid all the way forward, you got to be farther away from this line. So your tandems want to be up here somewhere. If your tandems are slid all the way back, you can put your tandems really at the edge of this line. And ideally you want to just back it into the hole. Once you get into the hole, you get under your trailer, and then bam, you're in there. It's hard to show you on here, and I have a truck that I'm going to demonstrate that with my students, but I have to buy some chalk first before I can demonstrate it. And what I'm going to do is, I thought about like putting it on a board, like drawing out the parking spaces on a board, but how big the little model truck that I have is, I don't want to carry a board around like that, so I'd rather just be on some blacktop like this and just draw a mini parking lot, and we're going to play with it with the board, with the truck. And that's if my student is having a hard time learning how to back. If they're not, if they're getting it, then cool. You turn your wheels all the way and break the neck. Once you break the neck, small correction, no more than a half turn. Get them, Al, get them. How long did it take me to 45-degree back? One day. Not even a day. Like a couple of tries. So I was on the truck with my student, with my trainer. She wasn't teaching me. I didn't know how to back. I was on her truck for 3 weeks. Then I got on a truck with another trainer for my last week. He showed me that setup that I just showed you. He was like, you're going to pull up when your shoulder hits that line. You're going to do a hard right. So you're turning your wheel that way. Hard right. You go out until your shoulder hits the middle, or depending on how much room you have. And then you turn left. So you're going to turn that way. And your truck will be straight. And your trailer will be slanted towards the hole. And then you just you start backing up, and then you start turning and getting under the trailer. I did it the first time. I had to pull up a couple of times. The second time, I had to pull up a couple of times. The third time, and every time after that, I didn't have to do no pull-ups. And it was so easy to learn that. And I couldn't understand how I learned that so fast when I couldn't get it when I was on the truck with my trainer, the first one. And it's because she didn't teach me like that. And that way is not going to work every single time you talk. But did I say talk? Because I'm reading the comments. That backing is not going to work every time you back up, because you're going to be in different situations and different scenarios. But that's a good place to start. You should get walkie-talkies when they're back, and so you can talk to them. I'm not going to get walkie-talkies because I want their hands to be on the wheel and not holding a walkie-talkie trying to back up with one hand. What I will do, though, is I have two phones. I have my phone and my headset, and I'll call my other phone, and it'll come through the speakers in the truck, and I can talk to them through my headset. My hands will be free, so I can direct them or whatever I got to do, and I can hear them through the speaker in the truck, and they can hear me, and then they'll be hands-free as well. If you can properly state right, you don't have to oversteer. How did I feel about winter driving? It was easy. It was fun. I was scared a couple of times. But they might be tempted to hold it and reply back. I don't want them to do that. And I'm not going to spend any extra money on walkie-talkies when I have the speakers in the truck. It's just like a two-way radio, except I didn't pay no money for it. But winter driving, I had one situation where I went to, I think I have it too. don't feel like looking to that for that picture though. I was in Wyoming. It was crazy in Wyoming. And I was on a mountain where it was like nothing but black ice going downhill. My biggest fear came to life. It was so scary. My biggest fear came to life when I was going downhill and I was sliding on black ice. But I like challenges. To me, challenges are fun. And one driver might, I hear a lot of drivers like, ugh, I can't stand the winter, I can't stand the snow. It was fun to me. It was challenging and fun. There are the rookies that came straight back. I was straight back. When I was in Squire, JoJo showed us how to straight back. He was showing off. He was like, this is how easy it is to straight back. He said, see, no hands. And he was straight backing with no hands. And if you're doing it right, you can too. But I wouldn't try that. Don't try that. Do not straight back with no hands, y'all. But I'm just saying, it's that easy. It's not hard. Yeah, turn the trouble. I would say do the underhand thing. So, like this. I love the snow. If you're backing, I would do it the underhand way. So if you turn your steering wheel that way, your trailer is going that way. Your trailer is going that way. And if you turn your steering wheel that way, your trailer is going that way. So that's why I like the underhand, because you'll remember it. And if you can't remember that, I would say get like a bungee or a piece of tape and tape it from here down, and then up here put hook, and down here put trailer. So no matter which way you turn the steering wheel, whichever way you turn the steering wheel is which way your trailer is going to go. So that's a good trick to have too. But I am tripping. I forgot I gotta get up early in the morning. I'm just chilling. Just chilling. Like I don't even got nothing. What time is it? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How far I gotta drive? Let me see. I base my sleep on how far I gotta drive. Go to what place again? La 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 la. One moment, y'all. I'll look at this load, and I still gotta pick up an empty. Oh man, God, that's nothing. What happened to the Kenworth? I don't want a Kenworth. I want to say my Freightliner is bigger than the Kenworth. Just make them back up everywhere except tight truck stops. They're backing up everywhere, even in tight truck stops. They're backing up every day. Every time I back up, they have to back up, regardless of how tight it is or not. The first tight spot, I'll probably do it, but after that, they're going to do it. That's correct. They teach you how to get your CDL. That's the whole purpose of going to Squire, is to teach you to get your CDL. They're not supposed to teach you anything else. Your trainer's supposed to teach you that. In trucking CDL school, in Squire's CDL school, night CDL school, they teach you, the first week they teach you pre-trip and how to learn and master the pre-trip. Then the second week they teach you straight back. They teach you your road skills, road tests, like right-hand turns, left-hand turns, straight back, offset, and parallel. And then you go test for your CDL. And you have to emphasize those skills. I was worried when I was in CDL school. Yeah, but if I wait until a night, my training or my student has to go to a yard to back, they're not going to get enough backing experience. I was told through the train the trainer program, they have to back every single time we back up. And if we're at a yard, they have to back up multiple times for practice. But if we're stopping at truck stops and stuff like that, they have to back regardless of how tight it is, because they have to get that experience. And I got a lot to prove, because there's a lot of people wishing bad upon me, and they want me to fail, and they want my students to fail. So my students are going to get the same backing. Look, I didn't get a lot of backing experience. The real backing that I got was 1 week of real good backing experience, and then I was in my own truck. I had to learn by myself without no help at truck stops. So, but based on how he taught me how to back, I was confident when I was at a truck stop. I wasn't scared. And I don't care what these people say at truck stops. They can say whatever they want. When I back into truck stops, it's going to be during times where there's not going to be a lot of trucks anyway, so I'm not worried about that. Feel was easiest to me. I'm a trainer. Straight backing has been a problem for all my students except the ones that did that 6 week schooling. Just don't touch the steering. Pull up. When you're straight back, pull up to where you know your steering wheel is straight. Everything is straight. Don't touch it. Like how he taught us to do it, if you can see what I'm doing. He just said, put your hands like this. When you're straight backing, he just said, do this. You still have control of it, but you're not really touching it. You just have control of it just in case it offsets a little bit. You can turn it just slightly. But he just said, just keep your hands there. You don't have to turn the steering wheel, and it should just back straight. And that's how we got straight back. Straight back was too easy to me. I had no problems with straight back. I was done with that ASAP. Your mentality is going to make you awesome trainer. Don't be concerned about haters. I'm not worried about that. Al is not a hater though. He's another trainer. He used to be a trainer for Coltrans, and he's like my mentor. He's really good. So I just like arguing with him because I can. Yeah, I go to Denver. I forgot to answer that question. I do go to Denver. I go everywhere. All 48. Make sure you see your trailer wheels. In trucking school, my teacher took me to a truck stop to learn how to back. I'm starting to get my permit, enjoying this info as well as reading the comments. That's what's up, multifaceted. Good luck. You seem like you would be a hell of a good trainer. I'm going to be a hell of a good trainer. Shoot, they ain't heard about me. I teach them to tell the trailer where to go. Yeah, that's a good one too. That's a good one. What methods will you use to teach your students about trip planning and finding the best trip route? The route solution. My atlas. You can tell I've been using it. I'm using it. Got coffee all on it. I gotta get a new one. I think I can get a PO number to get an atlas. I think they'll pay for it. If I tell them I need a new atlas, I want the 2019 atlas. I probably can get my Trucker Pass app for trip planning. Nope. They're going to do it the old school, old fashioned way. No apps, no technology. Old school, old fashioned. I'm about to show y'all something. The only technology they're going to use, in trip planning is their Zonar, because we get a route solution on Zonar. So, I'll show you. This is our route solution. It tells you what route to take, how long you're going to be on, with the route, the direction, and how long you're going to be on that route. CA 66 west for 24 miles. CA 210 west 28 miles. I 210 west 19 miles. This right here, I'm going to have my students write this up here. They're going to write the route right along here. And then they're going to go into the atlas for that state. They're going to pull up the United States. They're going to pull up the United States map if they're going across the different states. I think that route is just for California. And they're going to tell me, okay, so I got to start here on the, let's see. I have to start here on the 10, and we're going to Houston, Texas. So I'm going to take the 10 here, all the way down here. That's El Paso. So we're going to go down here. Where's Houston at? All the way down. So we're going to keep going until we get here. So they're going to tell me every highway that they're going to take. They're going to tell me when we're going to stop for a break, when we're going to stop for a pre-trip. A break, bathroom, our first break, our second break, and our shutdown. Where we're going to shut down at, how long it's going to take. So if you read the atlas right, it'll tell you how long it's going to take from one point to the next. So say, for example, we're going to do California. Let me see. California, I-10. Southern cities, we are in over here. Down here somewhere in this area. I can't even pinpoint it. Riverside, and the 10 is here. So San Jacinto, this is a way station. They'll know from each square. It tells you how long. 6 minutes from this square to that square. 6 minutes from that square to that square. But I'm not going to expect them to add it all up. They can. I'll teach them how to add all of these up. They'll add up how long it's going to take to get from one point to the next. But I'm going to have them get the dry erase marker, because this thing is, it's a dry erase marker. They're going to mark their route and show me that they know how to read the map. And then they're going to already have it written up there on the windshield. And they're going to tell me the first place that we're going to stop for a break, the second place we're going to stop for a break, and our shutdown. And they're going to go with the route solution. They're going to go with the fuel solution. They're going to tell me what exits, because these have exits and everything on there too. Because I want them to learn how to use just this atlas. If their phone broke, if something happened, just worst case scenario, and all they had was a rest area and a map at the rest area, they could read that map. They could read any atlas, and they could figure out how they're going to get out of the rest area, or how they're going to get out where they got to go, or how they're going to get to where they have to go. If they didn't have a GPS, if they didn't have a phone, if they had nobody they can call, they got their atlas. Any trucker is going to have an atlas, and if you need help, you're going to learn how to read it and get where you got to go with that atlas. And a lot of people, I don't know if you guys know this, but everything starts in California, right? I was taught this as I was driving. So everything starts in California. And if you're in the West Coast going east, your exit numbers are going to go up. It starts 0 in California, it goes up, and then it goes north to south. It's supposed to go like that. So down. So it'll be north to south, goes down. So it starts at 0 in California, going east to west. So if you're on the I-10 in California, and you're at exit 200, and you're going east, it'll go 201, 202, 203. If you're on I-5 in Northern California, you're going down, it's going to be like 99, 98, 97, 96. That's how you know if you're going east or west, north or south. If your exit numbers or your mile markers are going up or down, then you'll know what direction you're going in. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have an atlas, and if I wasn't taught that. So you don't know that when you're using a GPS. So if your GPS stops working, you're stranded somewhere, and they're saying, what direction are you going? Well, I just passed mile marker 24, I'm getting ready to go to mile marker 23, so I'm going north. I'm going south, or I'm going east. You can only be going south or east if you're going down, right? South, north or west if you're going down. Or you could say I'm at mile marker 101, I'm going 102, so that can only mean that I'm going north or west, right? I'm not having trouble, I'm just talking. But if you're a trainer, or if you're teaching your student to use, our company doesn't tell us to do that. They don't tell us to use GPSs and stuff like that, they actually say if you use a GPS and it puts you in a position that you get stuck in, you're getting fired. So I'm not going to teach my students to rely on the GPS. As a matter of fact, their first week on the truck is their first week driving is no GPSs. They're not using no GPSs. They have to write their route down on the map, on the windshield. It does tell you truck stops, D. Why don't you stop arguing with me and go read something? How about that? And yes, the technology does save you time, but I'm going with company policy. And all of the drivers of my mentors, all of their students are great drivers because of this that they teach them. The drivers who just use their GPS and end up in buttfuck Egypt where they're not supposed to be because they stuck with their GPS. Those are the problem drivers. And I'm not getting fired because I want to use technology and save time. This is not about saving time, it's about being safe. And it does tell you truck stops. Do you have a post office box at your main terminal for mail? Yes, you can use any terminal that you're at for mail. Do you have to purchase that atlas? I did purchase this atlas, but I think they might give us a PO for it. You're in trouble now. Your odd number highways go north and south. Even number highways go, you're going east or west. That's true too. You're doing things the hard way. It sounds nice, but your way takes too much time. Well, that's the way I was taught, and that's the way I'm told and instructed to teach my students. They're not allowed to use GPS. And all of the great trainers that I know, like Junior Honduras, he teaches his students straight by the atlas. And it's not too much time. I'm not taking shortcuts, so that's how I'm going to run my truck. If you're a trainer or you decide that you want to train, you run your truck the way you want to run your truck. But I'm going to teach my students how to be successful. It doesn't do nothing for local deliveries, but it tells you if you're OTR, which you will be, students will be, it tells you how to do what you got to do, which highways to take, which truck routes to take. Sometimes my GPS messes up. My GPS in Joliet, Illinois tells me to drive on the freeway and then make a right directly off the freeway, not on the off-ramp, just off the freeway into the terminal. And some fucking drivers actually do that stupid shit. No. When I first started, I was just using my GPS. And you know where I ended up? In a mountain. And the mountain, it ended up being a 2-lane highway and then just gravel and then dirt. And I had to back up a mile just to get out of it because my GPS told me to go that way. If I would have called my company or if I would have got stuck, I would have gotten fired. A driver actually got fired because he used his GPS. His GPS told him to go into a forest and he got stuck. And guess what? He got fired when a wrecker had to come and pull him out the forest. So no. The last few miles, Google Satellite for a double check. No, well, you could do Google Satellite for a double check, but I wouldn't say use your Google Maps for that. One reason why I bought my Garmin is because I can look on Google. Sometimes the address is not on there. I can look on Google on my phone, and I can send the address, which is auto-routed, to my Garmin, and it routes it for trucking. I can send the address there. And yes, I am OTR. But I can route. I can show you. So say, for example, I want to go to, I'm going to just use Houston because I'm going to Houston soon. Let's see. No, I'm going to just do, give me a place. NASA. Let's do NASA. In Houston, Texas, right? Let's see if I can. Okay. So I already have it on satellite view, so I know where I could park. Say, for example, I could park there. I already know where I could park. So now I want to send this to my GPS, right? This is how I send it. I click share. And then I click smartphone link. So this is for optimized for cars. Once I send this link to my smartphone link, it's going to optimize it for trucks. It's not supported also. This one ain't supported. We can't go to NASA. My Bluetooth is on. Is it connected? It's not connected. Okay. Let me go back. Let's see if it does it now. Smartphone link. Send. It's not supported for Johnson Space Center, so we can't go there. They won't let me go to Johnson Space Center. Porterville, California. Share. It's not working. I don't know what's happening. But what will happen usually is I'll share it and then it'll pop up on here and it'll say, do you want to go to such and such? And you click yes and then it routes me. And it's a truck route. I don't know why it's acting up now, but that's my option number one. Number two is I use my Garmin, my Rand McNally. Number three is I use the GPS coordinates, like the longitude and latitude, to put it on there. But I never use my GPS on my phone to route me anywhere, unless I'm just looking to see if I can park. And not even that. I use Life 360, which is a little bit better than Google. I'm going to challenge myself just using Atlas for a week. I had to use it for a week because I wanted to teach myself how to use an Atlas. I didn't know how until I learned from Junior Honduras and watching his videos. And this is before I got on a truck, because I wanted to learn, what if I got a trainer who didn't want me to use the GPS? And I had to use Atlas. I wanted to learn how to do it. And it actually works out because you have to follow the route solution and that's another thing. You have to follow the route solution that the company gives you, because then that's your fuel efficiency. If you follow your own route and do your own thing, then it may not be the route that Night gives you, and then what? Now you're causing the company money. You're costing money. You're a liability. And yes, I only have 4 weeks, and guess what? Junior Honduras teaches his students in 4 weeks the same thing. Everything that I'm doing, I got it from him, and I got it from my mentor. So if they can do it, I can do it too. And their students come out very awesome, and their students don't have to be retrained, and their students do really well, and they make good money because they know how to run their clock, they know how to use a map, they know how to use GPS, and they know how to use good judgment instead of trying to cut corners and go fast. My last job delivered a lot to Boston and New York City to small retail product stores. And if you didn't double check on Google Maps, you could be screwed. That's true. So I always say that, I said you can use the Google Maps to do the area. Sometimes you don't know. First you call the shipper. If you're not sure where to go or how to get there, especially if you're going to the East Coast or some places in California, call the shipper. What is your suggested route? But we don't have to do that, because in our load information, we get the load information, we get directions, and we get the route solution and the fuel solution. So we get directions from the shipper or from the receiver on how to get to their location, to their facility. If there's any questions, then I'll call them. What is the best way to get to your facility? If there's no way, if I don't have the directions or if I can't call them, then I'll get on Google and I'll look at the satellite view and see where I can go. One time I got stuck in Pennsylvania because I didn't think that I could turn down a certain street to go to the consignee, because it said a low bridge clearance, and I didn't know if I could get down that street. So I had to use my Google Maps to see the aerial view, and I saw that when you turn down that street, then the street branches off. If I went this way, which is what I was seeing from my point of view, that's where the low bridge clearance was, but this way is which way I needed to go, so I didn't have to worry about the low bridge clearance. And I was able to see that from the Google Maps. Sometimes you can see on Google Maps if you can park somewhere where there's no truck stops, like in LA. When I leave this terminal, until I get to that shipper, there's not going to be nowhere for me to park my truck. If I had to shut down, or if I had to pull over or take a nap or anything, where I had to park my truck, I'm going to pull out my Google and I'm going to look to see, is there anywhere I can park along my route that's big enough for me to turn around or park and get in and out of the situation. Whenever I got to go to Walmart, if I'm in the middle of a route and I have to go to Walmart, I look for a Walmart along my route and I pull up Google to see if, is it going to be easy to get in and out of that parking lot? Is there a shipping area, a docking area that I can go behind and park my truck back there? What's the traffic like? Stuff like that. I also go along the route, so you can go along the street view and look at, is there any signs that says no truck parking? Like, I had to pick up and deliver in Compton, and I was low on time on my clock. So I had to see if there was any truck parking anywhere around there. And I was able to drive myself down the street on Google, and I was able to read the signs that says, truck parking not allowed, or any bridge clearances or anything like that. So I don't say not use it at all. There's reasons why you can use it when it could be helpful, but as far as route planning, no, you don't use Google for route planning. You use your atlas. That's why they have it. My GPS told me to go to a place in California. This is during where they had all the fires in Redland, California. It told me to go. I had to go to a log. I had logs in my trailer, and it told me to go to this logging place. I got off the highway. My GPS said it was a truck route. My Ray McNally said it was a truck route. I got off. I'm driving. Highway patrol pulls me over. What are you doing on this road? I did a video about it. I wasn't even supposed to be on that road because guess what? It's not a truck route. My GPS said it was. If he was an ass, he could have gave me a ticket. Even the atlas, I couldn't find it on the atlas. The atlas didn't say it was a truck route. Just my GPS that said it was a truck route. So that's another reason why you don't want to always rely on your GPS, especially in California. And I'm ending with that subject. I'm teaching my students all the tools necessary. Everything that I know, I'm teaching my students. I'm going to teach them all of the tools so they know how to utilize everything. Because sometimes they're going to only have their phone. What if their Zonar breaks and they have to go on paper logs? What if they don't have a Garmin? What if they don't have an atlas? Because those atlases are like $60, $70. What if they have to use just their phone? They better get on the phone and go onto the DOT, California DOT website and look at the atlas on there and see what the truck routes are and then compare that to what they see on their Google Maps. So yes, or they can download the Trucker Path app like y'all said. Yes, Marlo teaches her students to do Trucker Path. Junior Honduras teaches his students to do an atlas. I'm going to teach both. When my students get off of my truck, I want them to have all the tools that they need to be safe, to run their logs, and to be confident on the road alone. Whatever they decide to do when they get off the truck is their business, but I can teach both ways. I want to make sure that they have everything that they need to be successful. That's all. But I wouldn't say just use the GPS because it's faster. No. And a lot of times, if you're doing this on your phone, while you're driving, that's still a ticket because it's distracted driving. No phone use. You somehow can get away with it with a GPS, sort of, kind of, but a phone, they don't know what you're doing. They just know you're on your phone. So I don't want to set my students up for failure. They're gonna know where they gotta go before they have to get there, before they even leave their parking spot. And if you guys want more information on how to do the whole atlas thing, just learn it. You may never ever use it, but just learn it so you know and you have that information just in case. It's like math, right? They teach you math in school and you're like, why do I need to learn math? I'm never going to use it. And then at least you know it just in case, right? So same here with that. Learn how to use your atlas so just in case you need it one day, you know how to use it. The atlas has a lot of useful information. Bridge laws and all kinds. It's very useful. And I'm in with that. I love to talk to y'all forever and a day. Junior Honduras has 3 videos. He separated them in 3. I learned a lot of information from his videos. I have the link in my playlist called Trucking, or New Student Training or something like that. It's from Junior Honduras, and he teaches how to do the Atlas thing. I learned a lot from him with that. And you can probably see his videos on there too about it. So, I'm gonna probably do a video tomorrow. I don't know. I want to do more videos that are full of content that's useful versus just me talking. And when I'm driving, things come to my mind. Can I request a student? You can request a trainer if you are a male requesting a male trainer. If you're a female and you want to request a female trainer, you can do that. But you can't be a male requesting a female trainer. They have clarified that I'm not allowed to train any males regardless of who they are. And vice versa. No males are allowed to train females regardless of who they are. So, yes, you can, but it has to be a male trainer. So, I've been off duty way too long. I'm ready to drive, man. And I will start driving again at midnight. My route is only 3 hours. That sucks. I'm going to get there at 3 a.m. It's Walmart, so it doesn't matter what time I get there as long as I'm not there late. Yeah, non-laminated isn't that much, but if you want to use your dry erase marker to plan your route and mark on it, then you need a laminated one. And the laminated one isn't going to mess up. So, y'all, my hair, that trucker head hair, ugh, my head, it was bothering my head. I was this close to going to Nipsey Hussle's store today, but I wanted to get my nails done instead, so I didn't go to his store. I was going to order a hat from him from his store. I chose not to. Decided against it. So yeah, if you get the non-laminated, yeah, it's cheaper. That can help for right now. Or even, I'll do one even better. Go into the truck stop, right? There's this app called Cam Scanner. Take pictures of the Atlas and scan it into a PDF document. There you go. Buy the Atlas, take pictures of it, and then give it back to them and get your money back. That's what I did while I was in college. I didn't buy textbooks. I scanned my books and to my phone. I'll give you an example. I love this app. It's the best app ever. So look. So if I took a picture of this motor carrier road atlas, right? And then watch what happens. Let me put this down. I don't have my phone case on my phone today. Push OK. That's the document. It automatically did it for me. And you see it's kind of like messed up. So I'm going to redo it. How do I redo it? There we go. And you just put the little corners where they go. I took a bad picture. I didn't get the whole book. So it straightens it out. Then you could do different colors, gray mode, black and white, but it scans it into a PDF document. So let me show you one that I did before. This was the papers that I got from DOT. That's what it looked like when I first got it. If you take the picture the correct way the first time, you don't gotta do all of that. And it automatically optimizes it for you and turns it into a PDF document. And then you can click OCR and it'll read all the words. Oh God, I don't know. It'll read all the words for you, so then you have the words, so then when you save it, I'm not going to save it, but when you save it and you go in the PDF and you want to read it, you can search for the word in the picture. And then you're done. So I did that with all of my textbooks. I never bought any textbook. I would just go to the bookstore or wherever I had to go, and I'll take pictures of it really fast. Just hurry up, take pictures. You could upload pictures from here, or you could take the picture. I would just take the pictures, and then that's why I never had to pay for any textbooks. So you don't have to buy the atlas. Or you can go onto the DOT's website. That's a lot easier for that state and pull it up. It's called Cam Scanner. But if you don't want to scan it, you can take pictures of anything. But if you don't want to scan it, you can go to each state has a DOT website. Yeah, Cam Scanner. And the DOT website has the atlas or the truck routes for that state. Especially. Let me show y'all. Especially California. Let me show you guys where I was talking about when I was in California and I couldn't. It wasn't a truck route. I was in Northern California. Where was I at? By Redding. San Jose, Salinas, Fresno, Bakersfield. Why can't I find Redding in here? Lancaster. Tulare. I see Tulare. I see Bakersfield. And it's I-5. What was I on? I-5? Oh, that's farther up north. Let's see. Hold on. Farther up. There we go. Alright. There it is. I circled it. Well, I erased the circle, but when I first did it, I circled it. Where I had to go was in this area. All of this whole area is where I had to go in this area. And you see, this orange is the truck route. But all through here is not a truck route. It stops. So my GPS told me to keep going. I didn't keep going. I got stopped by the police, and I could have gotten a ticket because I tried to follow my GPS. It says it's a state route, right? State route 44 and 36, but it's not a truck route. See what I'm saying? Yep, they do have a list of all the low bridge state weights. It tells you where all the weigh stations are at. It tells you where Let's see. I can't tell you offhand, but I marked it. It tells you where all the way stations are at. It tells you if it's a truck route or not. It tells you if it's interstate highway, U.S. highway, a Mexican highway, service area, a toll road, a toll booth. It tells you the interchanges and exit numbers. It tells you the distance between the interchanges and exit numbers. It tells you if it's a capital, if it's a county, a city or a town, if it's an urban area or a metropolitan area, and then all the parks and recreations and stuff like that. It tells you if it's an airport, a rest area with toilets or a rest area without toilets. It tells you tourist information and port of entry. It tells you the highest peak in the mountain, and if it's a mountain peak, the highest point in the state. It tells you if there's going to be a dam coming up. Time zone. And it tells you the latitude and longitude. Of course, you would need that, right? Because what if you didn't want to use you didn't want to use the atlas, you just wanted to use your GPS? You could pull up the latitude and longitude and then type it in your GPS, and bam, you got the correct truck route because you verified it through your atlas, and then you use GPS. So it has a lot of information, very useful information. I mean, suit yourself, do what you want, but we get a bonus. Hold on. Yeah, we get a safety bonus and a production bonus. The fuel, we don't do the fuel bonus anymore. And yes, we do have governors. I wasn't good with maps either, and I could be better, but if I really needed to use a map, I have technology to help me learn it based on you looking at those videos. And I mean, I'd rather be safe than sorry, so I will pull over and call somebody if I need help, or I'll just keep studying the map until I get it. But that's why it's up to me as a trainer to teach my students how to be good with maps. So just in case they need to use one, they have it available. Now, if you were to buy the Rand McNally GPS device, you could pull up the Rand McNally Motor Carriers Road Atlas, and it allow you to zoom in closer to the local route. You can't zoom in on the paper map or the paper atlas, but you can zoom in on Rand McNally. That's one thing I do like about the Rand McNally. It's not on our Zonar, but it's on the actual app. You could pull up the atlas for that state, and you could zoom in to see the local routes. So, think about going to night transportation. That's what's up, Ulysses. So if you guys want to go, I said I was going to show you that too. If you guys are thinking about going to night transportation, you guys watch my videos. If I have influenced you to come to night transportation, I want to show you a feature on the night transportation app that you can put in. And you can put my driver code. But I want to show you a feature on the night app, the night website. So if you go here and you go to training, driver referral. So you go to driver associate, driver referral, and if you click that, you can put in my information if you have it, my name, first, last, driver code, truck number, email, and then you put in your first, last name, and phone number, if you have a CDL or not, and you submit it. It will send me an email, and it'll send a recruiter an email. So this is my information. Hold on. Y'all can't see, like, my address and stuff. DollFace Trucker at Gmail. Okay. So, y'all want to screenshot this This is my information. If you go on this page, y'all screenshot that. You can write it down. My name is spelled JOJONHARRIS. The driver code is 2HAJOJ. Truck number is 172468. Of course, you know my email, DollFaceTrucker@gmail.com. If you're thinking about coming to night transportation, go on this page and fill that out with that information, and a recruiter will contact you. Okay? When I get a chance, probably not tonight, I'll update all of my videos to have this information and this link on there. Or all future videos will have this information and that link on there, so you guys can click on the link and it'll take you straight to that page. And I'll have all of my driver information on there, so you guys can, if you want to use me as a referral and possibly have me train you. Okay? Well, I'm gonna go. This has been a long video. I haven't done a 2-hour video in a long time. But I gotta go to bed. I'm not sleepy, but I have to go to sleep. I have to force myself because I have to drive. Even though it's a little bit of time, I still have to drive. So I hope you found this video useful. If you found it useful, please like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I post more videos. I want to post more videos of substance in the future, so hit the bell so you know. Hit the bell so you know when I go live or when I post a video. And comment what videos you want to see next. Put it in the comments below so I know. Tell me what you want to see. Now, you know I can't do any videos driving, so all of my videos have to be when I'm parked. But let me know what you guys want to see, and hit the bell so you know when I go live again. Okay? Alright, see you guys later.